Okay, so I'm making this video about the Artemis mission, and I'm making a mind map that connects to this, and any news in the near future that uses the same number codes or anything that's connected to it. We'll just put them here and see how things connect. And the launch is supposed to be today, but they've canceled the launch due to some, I guess, technical difficulties. And I'm gonna go through these numbers that they've put into the launch and everything, and to this Artemis mission. So you have this rocket supposed to be launching today on Moon Day, unless I'm guessing what they chose today, Moon Day, Monday, and then Saturday. Monday is named after the moon, and then this countdown that they had was started on Saturday, which is Saturn's Day, and they chose the launch to be at 8:33 a.m. and they didn't choose 8:30, they chose 8:33 so that they could have the 33 number being used, which is a code number, and then you have the 42 days is how long this thing is going to take to go around the moon, and that's connected to Saturn. And then we have the rocket itself, which is 322 feet tall, and the 322 is connected to a Skull and Bones Society, and Saturn, the Skull and Bones symbolism is this right here. This is their symbol, and they use this number 322, and the skull and bones, the cross bones, are basically a symbol of Saturn and Osiris. So this is the capsule of the rocket that they're sending up. It's called Orion, which is like the similar to Osiris, as the Egyptians or have Osiris in place of Orion. And this, as you can see, is very similar symbology to this. And you can see here how this is all fake. This is all CGI, first of all, and then this right here, you can see how it's just a symbol they've created to look like this. It's named Orion, and it's a capsule. And so this is like a head, which is what cap comes from, the head of the rocket, the capsule. And this would be the cap. This is the head, the skull. And then you have the cross bones. It's a cross. Same thing, symbology that they're using. And this is what the rocket stands for right here. This is an obelisk, a Washington Monument here in the United States, and around the world they have obelisks. And the obelisk is basically a symbol of the earth god. And for instance, in the Egyptian mythology, you have Osiris, and Osiris dies by Set and is chopped up into a lot of pieces. And then, so Osiris is in the underworld, and Isis, Osiris's wife, wants to mate with Osiris. That's what they mate. She mates with Osiris by making this obelisk, which is a representation. It's kind of like the replacement part to the penis of Osiris. So this is like Osiris's penis coming out the ground to mate with the sky goddess, which is Isis. So the sky would be Isis and the earth would be Osiris. And they mate and they create the sun, their son, the Horus, which is like Jesus, and the sun. So it's like Osiris reborn. So you get the phoenix symbology. And this is all connected. And then we have the Georgia Guidestones. Let me get to the Georgia Guidestones that I'm wanting to get to. let's see here. So see here, this symbol that they're using for the Georgia Guidestones. Here's one right here. See this? This is the top view of the Georgia Guidestones, and you can see it's the same symbology as this. It's the same thing. And you have the capstone on top of the Georgia Guidestone. It's called a capstone, and this is the same symbology as the skull and bones. It's the same things. And the Georgia Guidestones was actually put up, you can see right here, the Georgia Guidestones was put up on March the 22nd, 1980, which would be 3/22, and it was dismantled on George Bush's birthday on 7/6. And we just went through that event recently, 2022, and it was all connected to this rocket launch on the same day as 7/6, and they sent up some CubeSats, and they lost transmission, I think at around the same time that the Georgia Guidestones blew up. But anyways, this is the same symbology that we're dealing with as the Georgia Guidestones and the capsule and this rocket that everybody's talking about. So the date or the launch, today's the date, but they didn't launch it, and it's 8:33 a.m. was when it's supposed to launch. 42,322. All this is connected to Saturn, and you even have the 88 in there was 8.8. That was the amount of thrust that the rocket has. And then $93 billion is how much till 2025 that the Artemis mission is going to cost. $93 billion for a bunch of fake stuff. And then you have the 1.3, which is the distance that it'll travel, 1.3 million miles. That's how much distance. And the 13 is connected to Saturn in Phoenix, which is connected to Saturn. And then you have the 93 that's connected to Saturn. It's if you add up Saturn and just add up the letters, change them to numbers, and add up the letters, you get 93. And there's many connections with 93 and Saturn. And then you have this 8.8. Over here you can see, and we have the CubeSats as well. So you have the cube symbolism, which is connected to Saturn, and they're called CubeSats, and they're satellites. The satellites are a reference to Saturn. They're kind of like the angels in heaven that look down on us and they send messages to us about our sin, like we're causing climate change. And then and the earth will be God, basically. So you have this mythology that this is all based off on, and so you have their name in the rockets, the planets, the days of the week, etc. After all this mythology. And so you have Saturn, which is a reference of death. He's like the Grim Reaper, and that's why you have the skull and bones as well. And then you have his son Jupiter, or Zeus, and then you have Jupiter's kids, Apollo and Artemis. They're twins, and that's part of the reason why they're using this is because they're have a twin event going on. And the old one was Apollo, and in the Apollo mission they had the Saturn rocket being used. So it's not a coincidence what I'm talking about. This stuff, they chose these things, not me. And then you have Artemis, who's the twin sister of Apollo, the sun. And so now we have this new moon mission going on. And if I find any information out anymore, I'll upload that and add it to this map.